Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In this video we will be talking about how Joe Biden can still win the popular vote in 2024, and even in that instance, Donald Trump can still win in a landslide in the Electoral College, which is of course what matters. The popular vote nationwide, the nationwide vote, really doesn't matter all that much. What matters are the swing states. So we'll be looking at 2020 results, as well as where the popular vote is as of now, as well as the polling error back in 2020, because it really substantially underestimated the performance of Donald Trump in 2020. So we have our map, our 2024 map, and we will be filling this in. But first we have to consider all of the factors that could lead to this, that could lead to, just like an instance in 2016 or 2000, or however many there were in history, where one person wins the nationwide popular vote, right? They win the more votes nationwide. However, the other candidate wins more electoral college votes, and that, I believe, could happen in 2024, and in a very substantial way, because I think that Donald Trump can actually win in a landslide even with Biden winning the popular vote. So we'll get to that. I mean, when you look at states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, they were so close in 2020. Now, looking at the popular vote right now in polls, this is today. This is an aggregate of all the polls. We see that Donald Trump is currently ahead by 2.1% nationwide in the five-way matchup: Trump versus Biden versus RFK Jr., Cornel West, and Jill Stein. Trump is up 2.1%. Now, on this day in history, on June 6th, but in 2020, 4 years ago, in the 2020 election, we see on this day, Biden was ahead by 7.4% in the aggregate, the national polls. 7.4. That is very substantial. That was a huge margin. This was looking like Biden would really be unstoppable in November, and he would win in a landslide. So you see here, this time around, Trump leads by 2.1. Last time around, Biden led by 7.4 on this day. So that is a 9.5 overperformance this time around for Trump. That number is critical. He is performing now 9.5% better this election than he was this time last election. That is truly something to keep in mind, because 9.5% is so significant. Because, we had 3 states in 2020 where the margin was just about 50-50. It was decided by a tilt margin in Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia. It was excruciatingly close. So, of course, 9.5%, better for Trump this time around is hugely important. And then what we also have to look at is the underestimation of Donald Trump back in the 2020 election, and maybe apply that to this election, considering that we have the same pollsters, and most importantly, we have the same candidates. In 2020, on Election Day, November 3rd, 2020, Biden was ahead in the national aggregate, according to 538, by 8.4 percentage points. He only won the popular vote by 4.5%, I think, hopefully. He only won it by 4.5%. So it went from 8.4, let's call it 8.5, to 4.5. So the polls overestimated Joe Biden in 2020 by 4%. Now, Trump is doing 9.5% better, and applying the 4% underestimation in 2024, that is a 13.5% overperformance this time around than last time around for Donald Trump. 13.5%. In that instance, Donald Trump would hang on to all of the states, of course, that he won back in 2020. These are all of the safe Republican states, or likely, or lean, or, whatever margin they may have been. That includes North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, of course, which was a critical battleground state in 2020. Not so much anymore. But this was his map. This was Donald Trump's map in 2020. If he is able to do 13.5% better this time around, he would flip, an incredible amount of states. He would, of course, flip the critical battleground states typically because they were all narrow margins. That's Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and he is already over 312, or he is at 312 electoral votes now, well over the 270 needed to win the presidency. 13.5% overperformance means that Biden is winning New Mexico. It means, wow, okay, so Colorado would actually be, we'll call it a flip, I guess, just for dramatic purposes, but it would be decided by a couple hundred or thousand votes. He would flip Virginia, which was literally a Hillary state in 2016. He would flip Minnesota, which was also a Hillary state in 2016. So now we're getting into deep Democratic territory. New Hampshire would flip. Maine at large would flip. So those are more pickups for Donald Trump that really hasn't been seen in forever. Nebraska at large, Nebraska 2nd District, not at large, would flip. That only went to Biden by 6.6% in 2020. And all that leaves for Joe Biden are the safe Democratic states, because those are states with a 15% higher margin for Biden. So that's California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, Delaware, New York, and Maine's 1st District. So this would be an electoral landslide for Donald Trump, 357 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 181. Now, obviously, Donald Trump would be winning the popular vote in this instance. But when you look at these polls right now, we see that Donald Trump is only ahead by 2.1% in the polls. Now, I don't know what exactly Biden would have to do to win the popular vote. I don't know exactly the percentage amount that he would that he would have to do better in this map. But if Biden were to win the popular vote by a point or less, a very narrow popular vote win, this would still be a massive Trump win, because you've got that, what was it, 13.5% overperformance overall by Donald Trump in 2024. So let's call, Biden in that instance has to cut that down by, let's say, 4% to a 9.5 overperformance in order to win the popular vote. But still, what does that do? Well, that wins him back Colorado because, again, this was a 13.5% overperformance by Trump. Biden won it by 13.5. New Mexico, Biden only won it by 10.8, so that offsets and he would win it. Virginia would also go back to him. But, I mean, beyond that, I don't know if there are any more. I mean, yeah, Minnesota, no, because we're cutting Trump's overperformance from 2020 now to a 9.5% win. We have to remember that. So you see that Colorado, 13.5% win for Biden in 2020, still does not go red. New Mexico, over 9.5% for Biden in 2020. Virginia as well. But Minnesota was not. New Hampshire was not. Maine would actually go back to... Wait, why is this so confusing? Let's see. So yeah, so Maine would actually stay with Trump because that's under 9.5%. And I don't know if there are any more. All of the core swing states, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all of those would stay with Joe Biden. So it really doesn't get, Donald Trump could still win in an absolute landslide, even if Biden were to eke out a very narrow victory in the popular vote. So, very interesting scenario where, we have a classic example where the one candidate can win the popular vote, but the other could win the Electoral College. But this time around, it won't even be close in the Electoral College. I won't say that, but it could maybe not even be close in the Electoral College, and Trump could still lose in the popular vote, because realistically, we could have a map similar to this. I don't know, I obviously don't predict exactly this, with still Biden winning the presidency. So, mind you, this is not a prediction or anything, but just a hypothetical map that we could see in November. So, thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a like and a comment down below. Consider becoming a channel member if you enjoyed this video for exclusive channel perks and all that. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.